Okay, I'm not watching the Halloween thing. Like, okay. I hate my phone on occasions. And hello there, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is the DIUG here and his crew of the biggest 49er fan in the state of New York, Mr. Dave. And we also have everyone's favorite MIB agent who cheers for the Colts. It is Mr. J, a.k.a. Mr. Jones. Who, as always, when we're doing with MIB headquarters, we have a little bit of technical difficulties because MIB headquarters hates us. Da-da-da-da-da-da. No. Now, before we continue to get to everything, I do have an announcement to make. Next week, thanks to my buddy Dave, we have a little bit of a surprise for you that we're going to be talking about next week, hopefully, if it gets here on time. But we're going to save that as a secret for right now, so something to look forward to sometime next week for all you crazy people out there. We won't go into too much detail what it is, but let's go over what happened this past week before we hand out the best and worst, rant a little bit, and talk about some of the injuries we have to deal with this week. So in week 4, the Bengals somehow came back and beat the Jaguars. I'm still trying to figure out how you actually let the Jaguars lead in that motherfucking game. What, the party he was at? Yeah, that was after, so that was late, that was this past weekend. I think it was on Friday or Saturday. We'll get to that later. The only thing I can presume is the Bengals were overlooking them because they were probably like, hey, we got to play the Packers this coming week, so we're going to overlook them, which almost bit the Bengals in the ass. But hey, Jacksonville does what Jacksonville does. Moving on to the Sunday games, my Cowboys beat the Panthers, which I have to talk about that game because too many people wanting to say the Panthers got screwed, and I'm going to explain to you why in great detail that is not the case. Washington beat Atlanta because, hey, Atlanta does Atlanta things because they haven't been able to be correct since the Super Bowl loss. The Buffalo Bills annihilated the freaking Houston Texans. That looked like Jason Voorhees at Camp Crystal Lake. My upset... Yeah, murder, death, kill. Somebody send the demolition man to stop this. Congratulations, Chicago Bears. You actually figured out how to use Justin Fields correctly. But it was against the Detroit Lions, so that means nothing. But in doing so and getting your win, you did have to make a sacrifice. We'll get to that later. Colts get their first win of the year, beating the Miami Dolphins, so congratulations to the Colts. Dolphins, you went from being a playoff team, a caliber team in week 1 to looking like, well, tank ball, as urinating tree would say. Browns beat the Vikings, a.k.a. the Vikings offense has been spayed and neutered by Kirk Cousins once again. I can't wait to talk about that game because I'm going to. Giants beat the Saints in overtime, giving the Giants the first win of the year. Jets win in overtime, beating the Titans in overtime as well. We're going to discuss those two games because each one has to be in-depth to be like, what the fuck happened? Chiefs beat the Eagles, which that game, though, did show the Chiefs are in trouble, and I'll explain that later. Cardinals are proving to be now the best team in the NFC as they beat the Rams, soundly to beating the Rams, I would say. And the Cardinals are the only undefeated team left, so congratulations to the Cardinals on that accomplishment. The Seahawks beat the 49ers, and Jimmy Garoppolo got injured. We'll see if he plays this week. If he does, I don't have any faith for them. Packers beat the Steelers in a game that wasn't really even that close, to be honest. It was a... I'm gonna say this. Big Ben is playing like 2018 Eli Manning. No, that is not a compliment. Oh, trust me. We're going to talk about the Steelers in a little bit when we get to their game, because their game is kind of questionable. Where am I? Okay, Ravens beat the Broncos. Apparently the Broncos realized that, hey, You actually played against a legit fucking team. It wasn't the Jets, Jags, or the fucking Giants. Unfortunately, though, Teddy Bridgewater did get hurt. He is in concussion protocol. We don't know if he will be playing this week, so keep an eye on your injury list if you have not made your picks yet. The Bucs beat the Patriots, and what I got to say was the most overhyped game I've ever seen in my life. And then, of course, Monday night after a weather delay, you play in a goddamn dome that isn't a dome, so I don't understand how that works. The Chargers beat the Raiders. I have no earthly idea. It's Los Angeles. I'm sure somebody pissed their pants, and that's probably what did it. So for this past week, I went 11-5, so a great week for me. And for the season, I'm 39-25, so I'm still having a winning season so far in picks. Mr. Jones, but I believe you did the best out of all three of us, though. Twelve and 4 for the week, and how are you for the season right now? No, he's got 38. Yeah, so he's I'm one game ahead of him. So you'd be 38-26, but that's good. So you've moved up a bit. But the biggest shocker of this past week has got to be Dave sliding down a lot, because you did fucking terrible on Sunday. When I messaged him, okay, because I messaged him, you were 6-7 at one point. So how did you finish this week? Nine and 7, okay. But how are you for the season right now? Because I believe if my map's correct, you're in third place. Yeah, so you are in third now. Mr. Jones is in second, and I barely am holding on over Mr. Jones, so I could lose that lead at any point at this point. Of course, now. That's if they decide to if they don't retire with the belt and get buried with it. But of course, now it's time for our favorite part of the stream, guys. The winners and losers of this past week before we get to the rants. Of course, we do have a few awards we like to hand out. The best of this past week, the worst of this past week, the One-Hit Wonder Award, which is back. We haven't seen that thing in a while. And of course, Mr. Jones actually came up with an award himself, which we'll get to in a little bit. So let's go to the one that we always like to talk about the least. The best team of Week 4. Now, I think might be in agreement here on this one. I'm going to say this. No, it's not Dallas, everybody. I'm sure someone's going to say Dallas because of how well they beat Carolina. No. I got to give it... Fuck no. I'm going to give it to the Buffalo Bills because they literally obliterated the Houston Texans. That wasn't even close to a game. That game was over at the first quarter. So, Bills, you're the best team of Week 4, in my humble opinion. Yeah, I know it's the Houston Texans. I'm so going to say, well, they're a terrible team. I don't care how terrible you are. When you can't even get a point and your defense lets the Buffalo Bills put up 50-some-odd points, I don't want to hear it. Bills win my best team of the week. Mr. Jones, you're up next. 2 for the Bills. All right. Dave, do you agree with us, or are you going to go on a different ship? All right. Now we're going to get to the worst team, and this one I think we're going to have a lot of discussion because I had a hard time making who was my worst team, because you would think I want the Houston Texans because of the fact of they didn't score any points. And normally I would go with that because usually my worst, if you don't get any points, you are the worst team. However, there is one team from this past week that showed the inability to win. And I say that because of the fact of the offense played so bad, but yet the defense played so good. You would think they should have won the game, but because of the offense being so goddamn terrible, they couldn't even get I don't even think they got an offensive touchdown in that game. I actually am going to look at that just to make sure because I can't remember. But yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, congratulations, Minnesota Vikings. You are the worst goddamn team of this week in my eyes because you couldn't do shit against. So great you were able to start Baker Mayfield, but your offense was it's like your offense decided to go, I don't know what a football is. Again, Kirk Cousins, you fucking suck. Dave, we're gonna let you go next. Who was your worst team this past week? Tennessee Titans? Fair enough. I should point out with the Vikings, yeah, they did get one offensive touchdown, which was by Kirk Cousins, surprisingly, but unfortunately, he also threw an interception. So yippee! That means congratulations, you dumbasses. Now, of course, we get to Mr. Jones. Who was your worst team of this past week? Probably. Alright, now before we get to the Milli Vanilli Award, Mr. Jones, you have a new award you want to hand out tonight, so tell us what that award is. I believe you called it the Dumb Fuck Award for the Tennessee Titans for this past week. I remember that a bit. Oh God. Oh wow. Yeah. I like the fact we have two winners on this list. Mm-hmm. But gotta agree with that. So who's number one? I wonder. That might be. I think told me about that award. I had to give it to the Titans as well because they... And I know the Titans are going to say, oh, we didn't have our two best receivers, which you did not. But you still got Derrick Henry, the one of the best, if not the best running back right now in the NFL. And you couldn't beat the goddamn Jets. And, you know, Ryan Tannehill is why not a great quarterback. You were playing the Jets defense, which is ranked one of the worst ranked defenses in the NFL. And you still couldn't get the job done. If I am the Titans right now, I'd feel disgraced. And I'm going to say this, you know, everybody made fun of the Cowboys division last year for being the worst. I would just like to point something out. We're looking at the Colts division and all that. That division looks like shit. Because, and I know, Dave, we're going to get to who you have winning the what the fuck award. And I say that for this reason. Dallas's division last year, team won with a losing record, right? We're like, we're never going to see that again. We could actually see that again this season. Because the Jaguars have 0 wins right now. The Texans have 1 win right now. So that division looks like shit. And I know somebody's going to say, oh, it's early in the season. I'm sorry. When I look at that division, I really am looking like there's still a chance Jacksonville, who's 0-4, can still win the goddamn division. Because the other 3 teams you can't really trust. I'm going to say it. I would not be surprised if the Jaguars somehow win this division because of how bad it is between the Colts quarterback playing injured, Houston doesn't really have a great quarterback, and Tennessee doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Tennessee, if you would have won that game, you could have probably steamrolled the division. Hell, you still might. But that loss makes you look stupid. Alright, now Dave, who is your winner of the What the Fuck award? I think we're in agreement on that one. No problem there. Now, of course, the last award we have, like I said, we're bringing it back because it needed to come back. The Milli Vanilli Award, aka the One Hit Wonder Award, goes to the Rams, because you beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you beat them soundly, you beat the reigning, defending, you are the 1 in the 3-1 for the Buccaneers, Rams, and then you laid a giant motherfucking goose egg and got destroyed by the Arizona Cardinals. The one hit wonder / the Milli Vanilli is an award that you were good you were good 1 week, but then the next week you suck. So in better words, you had to be good in week 3, but then laid an entire goddamn goose egg in week 4. You should have had to have won as well. Oh, Saints, you know what? That's not a bad pick. Because they did lay a... Pretty much, how you going to lose to the Giants? Exactly. Yep, and I'm not surprised by that. I don't think anybody else is either. Mr. Jones, who do you have as your one-hit wonder? Man, Titans got buried real quick tonight. That is true. Ooh. No, that's right. If I gotta say who's more impressive in the win out of New York, you know, I want to say Buffalo, but since New York media doesn't care about the Buffalo Bills at all, that too. The Bills are a legit team. I want to say I was more impressed by the Giants only because of the fact of you could make the argument that this would have been their second win if they didn't screw up in the Washington game. So that's the only reason I'm going to say the Giants was more impressive, because the quarterback has been playing well. It's just they got so many injuries on that team, it's hard for them to stay competitive. And the only other thing I think as well, the Saints, and I noticed it this year since Drew Brees ain't there, they don't have the quarterback who can keep them in games, because Drew Brees would throw the damn ball. Yes, he'll make mistakes, but he'll also keep you in games. But you don't have that now. You don't have the gunslinger. You got the guy who, is mostly known for being bitch slapped by Tom Brady on his way out the door and for stealing crabs. I'm just saying. I agree with that. Alright, before we get to the injuries, I know there are a few games we need to go over a bit just to help people. So first, let's get because we're just going to focus on the big three, which would be all three teams. And trust me, I'm sure there's other people want to get to. We'll probably discuss how they did later. So first, though, let's go to the Cowboys game. Now, everyone is saying that should have been a fumble. There was a catch, and then he made got ball popped out, or that they said, oh no, forward momentum. I looked at that replay millions of times. Do I agree it should have been a catch? No, but I don't think it should have been a fumble. Remember, for it to be a fumble, it has to be three things: clear possession, he made a football move, and the ball came out. Here's the thing: why, yes, the ball came out, he never really made a great football move, because football move to them, they have to at least make 3 steps forward or sideways, whatever. And he really never had great control of the ball, because right when he caught it, he got hit. So to me personally, I would have said that's incomplete. Now, even if you're going to sit there and say the fumble cost the Panthers the game, here's the problem. The Panthers still led the game at halftime. It was 14-13. Dallas' defense just woke up in the second half and said, yeah, we're ending this goddamn shit. Which, by the way, ironically enough, Dallas' defense does lead the league in turnovers. Which is surprising. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. I'll agree with that, and like, uh, fair enough. And I will say this as well, and this is what I think Panther fans and anyone who had Dallas losing forgot. Panthers do not have McCaffrey. They didn't have him last week. They're not going to have him for a few more weeks. And if you've ever watched the Panthers team play, that whole offensive playbook is built around one guy, and it's not the quarterback. It is McCaffrey, the running back. Now, I will give credit to Sam Darnold. He has played better this year than he has ever with the Jets. But without McCaffrey there, I think we saw what happened. He doesn't have that security blanket, and it's going to cost him. Now, hopefully, the good thing for the Panthers is you don't play Tampa Bay yet. You don't play them till near the end of the season. So if McCaffrey can come back healthy, you can still somehow steal that division. Plus, hey, Carolina, you get to play the Eagles this weekend. So I don't think you're going to have to worry too much, I hope. All right. Now that we've had the happiness, let's go to the anger. Dave, how about them 49ers? No problem. No problem. I know you wanted to go off on the Niners a bit, and Niners, we'll see what happens, because I know Jimmy, they don't know if Jimmy's going to play or not this week, but we'll see. Now, of course, at least Mr. Jones, we're going to go back to Happy Land for a minute, because the Colts got the first win of the year. Against the bad Miami Dolphins. No, I can't. All jokes aside. You did beat the Miami Dolphins team, so congratulations on that first win. I'm sure you were happy. I'm sure everybody at your headquarters, at MIB headquarters in Ohio, everyone was probably like, why is this motherfucker happy? Unless you're Jacksonville or Detroit. Yeah. But they still got a win. Granted, that was a fluke win in week 1 as far as I'm concerned. By the way, interesting fact. The Jaguars on a 19-game losing streak. The last win for Jacksonville was week 1 of last year against the Colts. Let that sink in there. Jacksonville hasn't won since last season. That's an embarrassment at this point. Since last season, the Jaguars' last win was week 1 of last season against the Colts. Since then, they have not won a single game. And that trend may continue this week, but we'll see. Of course, the Urban Meyer situation, he was forced to apologize and have a team meeting. I'm going to say this because I think I said it last week. I have a feeling he's going to be one and done. He was pretty much the Ohio State head coach, won him a championship. He also won a championship when he was the head coach of the Florida Gators, a.k.a. Tim Tebow Gators at that time. So he's a big name in the city of Ohio. And I saw the thing, where Go was grinding on him. Here's the thing. I have no problem with him going to a party like that. I have no problem him doing that. I'm sure everyone's like, well, he says the thing for the players. Here's the thing. That's the players, because players are fucking stupid. We've seen players blow off their fingers for 4th of July. We've seen players take a gun to a club and accidentally shoot themselves. So yeah, I have no problem with what he did. Now, with that being said, does it make him look bad and being a distraction? Yes. Do I think it's going to really matter if he did that or not, though? No, because the Jaguars are still a shitty team. And it's because Urban Meyer, I'm going to say this, I think he still believes this is college. You can't do what you did in college in the pros. You can't. So I personally am going to say this, and I will say this with him. I don't think he's going to pull what the head coach of Alabama did and leave during the middle of the season, or do what a former Nick Saban, or do what a former Falcons head coach did and leave 3 or 4 games before the season's over. I think he will stay. But I think after this season's over, depending how the Jaguars do, I expect him to say he's gonna retire and be one and done. If he stays after this season, I will be shocked. Oh yeah, I'm sure he's sleeping on the couch. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, he should probably do it a little bit more better and not do it in public, we're just saying. Maybe do it behind closed doors. Yeah, too late for that. Yep. Okay, now, of course, the two big things that came out, players got cut, but they all been picked up. First, we want to start with the former Cowboys Pro Bowler linebacker Jalen Smith. Looks like he will be joining the Green Bay Packers in the morning. Now, here's the thing. Everyone was shocked by that. I wasn't, because he really didn't fit the new Dallas defensive scheme, you know, the new playbook and everything. Yes, he's played well in the past, but as the old saying goes, what have you done for me lately? And he wasn't playing that well. And I think that's why he got let go. Now, of course, for Green Bay, hey, Packers, congratulations. You get a great defensive player out of this. So you're the benefit of this. And it did open up a little bit of cap space for Dallas. Not a lot, but enough. And then, of course, it was the Patriots who also shocked everybody as well. Okay, two things before we get to the Patriots. Patrick's updates from today. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan told reporters that Jimmy G did not practice today, but is feeling better and won't be ruled out just yet, so keep an eye on that for you fantasy owners. Also, Panthers head coach Matt Orr told reporters Christian McCaffrey was limited today and that he could be back at game time. And that could be the 49ers calling Dave saying, Dave, we're going to let Jimmy Garoppolo start. Please don't murder yourself. No, that's fine. That actually works with the joke. So keep an eye on that if you have them in your fantasy teams and all that. Now, Stephon Gilmore, who's now with the Panthers. Now, originally he was going to be cut, but then at the 11th hour before the official signing of the cutting paperwork and everything was done, they were able to get a trade done with the Patriots. So that's pretty much what happened. Before they officially signed the documented dotted line of him being cut, Panthers said, hey, we'll give you a 6th round pick. I think it was like a 6th or 5th round pick for him. So, what's that for the... Okay, 6. So, what's that for the Panthers? They get a good player. New England gets a draft pick. So, good job for them. That too. Also, it does. The Bears have named Justin Fields the starting quarterback going forward, so Andy Dalton's officially, I think, the 3rd string quarterback now behind Nick Foles. But, like I said, the running back is out to at least week 11. So the Bears will be without their starting running back for the next few weeks. I'm trying to look up his name real quick. I should have probably wrote these. Yeah, Montgomery, thank you. So he is officially out for the next few weeks, so please keep an eye on that. Raiders running back Peyton Barber has been diagnosed with myotonic tough toe. No fracture. He's still seeking options and having tests, but sounds like he will be sidelined at least a few weeks for now. Dolphins wide receiver Will Fuller will be placed on IR with a broken finger. He will be out at least 3 games, so Miami just keeps getting fucked. Broncos quarterback Teddy Bridgewater is in the concussion protocol. He did not practice today. Drew Lock did take first team reps. By the way, I believe the Broncos play the Steelers this week, so that does play a key factor. Because let's be honest, Teddy Bridgewater is a hell of a goddamn lot better than Drew Lock. I'm sorry, Drew Lock, but you just suck. I think my mother in a wheelchair is a better quarterback than you. I think I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd rather have Kirk Cousins over Drew Lock. There's your. That's when you know. I think you're terrible. When I would rather have. Of course, they did. Yeah, I know. The 49ers all placing kicker Robbie Gould on injured reserve for the groin injury, so he's out for a while. By the way, the Chiefs opened the practice window for linebacker Willie Gay from IR. And Josh Gordon has been officially... He can play, and he will actually... Josh Gordon, his first game back will be this Sunday against the Bills when he makes his Kansas City Chiefs debut. Yes, David Montgomery. So. Correct. So that's all the injury reports you guys need to know, by the way. So let's get to what we're here for, though, this week's picks, which are brought to you by nothing, because I am not allowed to have sponsors in my life, apparently. And the of week number 5 is tomorrow night on Fox/NFL Network. It would be the 3-1 Rams on the road taking on the 2-2 Seahawks. The Rams are favored by 2.5 points at the moment. Rams are coming off a heartbreaking shellacking by the Cardinals. Seahawks are kind of coming off a decent win over the 49ers. Granted, I don't know if it because the Seahawks were that good or the Niners were just that bad that day. You did come back. I'll give you that. Here's the thing. Rams still have a better defense to me. What worries me, though, is Matthew Stafford, because the one thing I think we can all agree on, why he's a great player, and we always said, it was always Detroit never helped him. There have been times as well when he played in Detroit where he just sucked. And I think last week was the best example of that. I think all the momentum and all that stuff they did beating Tampa, I think that they kind of just kept thinking, oh man, we beat the Buccaneers. We're unstoppable, man. We're like Old Mike from My Hero Academia. And then you got bitch slapped. But I'm taking the Rams to still win tomorrow night. I trust their defense. Seattle's looked very wishy-washy this year. So I don't really trust the Seahawks right now. And that's something I didn't think I would ever say, because I'm a big fan of their coach, Pete Carroll. I'm a big fan of their quarterback. They don't play for Dallas, but I still respect talent when I see it on occasion. But I got to trust the Rams here. Better defense. I think the Rams are going to bounce back. Plus, they do have the leading number 1 receiver in the NFL on their team. So give me the Rams here, guys. Yeah, because you hate both teams. No. Both teams. We're no ties, damn it. Oh, you're going over the Seahawks. You're going with the Seahawks. Holy shit. Okay, Mr. Jones. That means you. Which ship are you getting on? Are you going to Starbucks in Seattle? Or are you going to come party with me in LA and go see a Clippers game? Oh, wow. So you're going with Seattle. Rams are 3-1. Yes, Seahawks are 2-2. So they're on the boat car to the SS Starbucks. Did you get that joke? Congratulations. But we go from a good game this Thursday tomorrow night, because I think we can agree that's a good game, right? Rams and Seahawks. To the next game, which is quite possibly the train wreck game of the week. It is in London. It is the New York Jets taking on the Atlanta Falcons. This game is at 9:30 in the morning here for us in the U.S., and you can only watch it if you have the NFL Network. Atlanta's favored by 3 points, and I'm going to say this, and I mean this with no jokes. This was a hard pick for me, because the Jets, excluding this past week, have sucked. They don't know how to put up points. Atlanta can put up points, but they don't know how to hold on to a lead. It is literally this is literally the definition of a train wreck. And if you don't know what that means, what I mean by that is you don't want to look, but you can't look away. This will literally be, if you're a wrestling fan, this will be the equivalent of Undertaker versus Bill Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be terrible. If you love clusterfucks, this would be the ultimate clusterfuck. You know, I thought there would be another one, but we'll get to that in a second, unfortunately. As much as it pains me because I don't trust either team, I'm going with Atlanta only because they actually have been able to put points on the board more than the Jets. That is the only reason I am taking Atlanta. He is, and that's why I was scared shitless making this pick. I'm gonna look real quick while you continue talking about that because I don't know how well he's played this year. I just know he's been playing. Both the teams have been playing bad, so let's just. But. Okay. You know I'm going to join you because I'm going to wake up. Okay, I should point out before we get to Dave's pick, ESPN's matchup predictor has Atlanta winning, but by 56%. They said the Jets have a 42% chance. So you know that's pretty bad when they're like, yeah, we don't know who's really favored. But as far as interceptions this year in quarterback stats, Zach Wilson for the Jets, 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Matt Ryan has 8 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Two for the Dirty Birds in London. Dave, will you be joining us? Or are you going to be joining the Mile High Club with the Jets? Exactly. You're going with the Jets. Oh, wow. Well, if you do win that, I should point out as well for anyone who's wanting to know, Jets and Falcons, because they all playing in London, they do have a bye week in week 6 because of the fact that they have to, you know, travel back from London, so they do get that first bye next week. Alright, moving on to, well, the game I'm dreading, because this was a game when I looked at it after this past week, I'm like, I'm really going to fucking hate myself for this game, because either way I'm going to piss myself off. It is the winless Detroit Lions taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Now, by the way, the Vikings are favored by 9 points. Now, if you watch the picks the last few weeks, I've kind of picked Detroit to win 3 out of the 4 games. The only time I had them losing was against Baltimore. And ironically enough, all 3 times I think I picked them to win, they were my upset pick, right? And I lost all 3 of those. I lost 2 of them, I should say, because the Bengals were the other 2. Lions have really... I don't know what's wrong with them because, you know, they got a decent quarterback. They got a nice head coach who I think is insane, but I like it. You know, but again, Detroit does Detroit things. If you saw that game against Chicago, when they're on the goal line, multiple times they won the goal line to get points. Center snaps the ball, but instead of it snapping it to the quarterback, he snaps it a little bit to the left. It bounces off the quarterback and lands in a defensive Bears' hands. Then the quarterback fumbles the ball. And it's like, really? And then, of course, you got the Vikings who, well, if you've been a part of this channel long enough for the last 2 or 3 years, you know I hate Kirk Cousins with a fucking passion. But they got a good defense. So, as much as I hate saying it, and when I wrote this pick down, I had to go to the bathroom and throw up because it literally made me ill. For the first time this year, I have to take Kirk goddamn Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings to win a game. I am taking the Vikings, and I feel ill doing it. Shut the fuck up. I am picking the Vikings. And I'm going to say this. I'm picking the Vikings, and I'm going to say this right now, Minnesota. If you lose this game, I will rain hellfire on you next week. You will see the most evil, sadistic, psychotic person I will ever be. So, Kirk Cousins, this is to you. If you screw this up, I will be begging for your head on a silver platter and you to be terminated immediately. Because there is no way in hell you should blow this game. See, even when I pick the Vikings, I'm not happy about it, and I'm like, fuck you, win or lose. Just fuck you, Kirk Cousins, either way. Just fuck you. Picking the Vikings is like making 3 for the Vikings. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and this is how I feel about picking Kirk Cousins to win a game. It's like forcing me to cheer for Roman Reigns. It makes me hate myself. So thank you, Detroit. You're making me hate myself right now. Moving on to something that would make me happy, though. Yes, we're going to Happyville. It is the New Orleans. What? No, they picked the Vikings as well. Yeah. All right. Up next, we head to Washington as the Washington Redskins football horse with no name are at home this week, taking on the New Orleans Saints. Saints are favored by 2 points. I'm going to say this. This was kind of a hard pick as well, but not for the same reasons as the Jets and Falcons was. Washington's been up and down, the Saints have been up and down, so it's really depending on which team we're getting, Washington's got a little bit of a better defense, but they got a quarterback that's not exactly the most proven. Saints, the problem's been we don't know which team we're getting. Are we getting the Saints that have always been dominant, look good? Are we going to get the Saints that look like a chicken with its head cut off because somebody's trying to do voodoo to bring Drew Brees back? Now, even though the Saints are favored by 2 points, I don't trust them because of how they played against the Giants, personally. Washington, why yesterday the second win was against a bad Atlanta team, they showed hard and their defense stepped up when it needed to. So, this is my upset pick of the week. I am taking Washington to beat the Saints. Yeah, I'm sure all my friends from high school are like, don't pick Washington to win again? Oh my god. Who is he? But yeah, give me Washington. Dave or Mr. Jones, you're up next. Oh wow. 2 for Washington. Yeah, I said it too, so yeah, if you get mad at us, just remember, we're never going to stop calling them that. It's like when I still keep calling the Chargers San Diego. Moving on to, well, again, that's kind of interesting, but not in the way I think we're all thinking. It is the New England Patriots taking on the Houston Texans. New England is favored by 9 points, and I think that's just because of how bad the how bad the Patriots are. They're kind of bad. Yeah, they're being generous because the Houston Texans all that bad. I think they're like, hey, if Buffalo can beat them by 50-some odd points, the Patriots should at least be able to do 20. Here's the thing. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than what I think a lot of people are predicting, and particularly Vegas, with this point spread of the Patriots being favored by 9. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. Because, both teams are starting a rookie quarterback. Neither team's looked well offensively well, okay, the Patriots looked good against Tampa. But I wonder if that had anything to do with the weather or anything like that. But I'm going to take the Patriots here, guys. I trust Bill Belichick a hell of a lot more than the entire Houston Texans organization. So give me the Pats. Oh, damn. You're giving the Texans at least a point. That's hilarious. Dave, what about you? Yeah. You're taking the Texans? Well, if you lose that game, we'll make sure to pour some beer over the ground. Moving on to what will probably be everyone's lock of the week. It is the Miami Dolphins on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay's favored by 10 points at the moment. Give me the Buccaneers, because I can't say anything nice about the Dolphins here after what happened. I think they're missing Tula right now from Alabama, but he's still out. Brady's going to probably want to show up because of how bad he did play against the Patriots, because he didn't play great. I know Gronk is still out for a few more weeks, but I think Patriots will turn it around. Not Patriots. I meant to say the Bucks. I apologize. The Bucks. Who do the Bucks now have on defense? Oh, yeah, Richard Sherman, who... Yeah, give me the Buccaneers. That's my lock of the week. Buccaneers over Miami, by the way. Say what? I was gonna say, you better be playing, damn it, because... And it's the Dolphins, who we've seen... AK's got the Bucks. Moving on then. So that was the pain. That was at least the least painful one we had to talk about. But this one was a hard pick because of who the teams are. It is the Green Bay Packers, who are 3-1 right now after that debacle start of Week 1. Taking on probably one of the most surprising teams who are leading in their division right now and who is 3-1. A team that we've actually been talking about a lot and praising the last few weeks, the Cincinnati Bengals. The game is in Cincinnati. Green Bay is favored by 3 points. I think this game is going to be very close because, Green Bay's been turning around the last few weeks. Everything's back to normal, and Rodgers is happy, so that means he must have got laid. But the Bengals have been probably one of the most surprising teams this year because no one really expected them to be this good. Everyone thought they'd still be rebuilding because, Joe's still young. I think Joe Burrow's been playing well. That offense has been playing well, excluding last week against Jacksonville. And the defense has been playing pretty okay. Now, normally this is when I would be saying, I'm going to take Cincinnati because I've done that a lot this year. But... unfortunately, this time I couldn't pull the trigger on you guys. I wish I could have been a little bit brave because I do like what Cincinnati's been doing. But unfortunately, this time I cannot pick WKRP. I think the Packers will pack them away and ship them to Alcatraz, unfortunately. So give me the Packers on the road here. What? That can't be an official pick. There are draws in the NFL, but there are no draws in the pick league. If it happens to be a draw, knowing we just put an L a 1 next to it at the end of the week, but we have to make an official pick here because I don't like ties. Rock and Reese and Captain Ron can tell you that. He's got to think a minute. Wow, so you're being gutsy, man. Because I wish I could have that kind of guts in this one. So you got one for the Packers, one for the Bengals. So Mr. Jones, back to you. You are the tiebreaker here. Do you join WKRP Cincinnati with Dave, or are you going to be joining me in Wisconsin for a reunion of that 70s show? Because we're all alright. We're all alright. God, I'm old. What? Cincinnati. Oh, well, hey, if they win, you two will look like the smartest people in the room. And I'll be like, why the fuck did I lose faith in Joe Burrow? The one time I lose faith in Joe Burrow, I get fucked. The next game is a little bit interesting because of quarterback situations, as I mentioned earlier. It is the Denver Broncos on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Denver got bitch slapped by a real team who's a threat. Pittsburgh's been playing very bad. They have pretty much not recovered from last year's implosion near the end of the season. Now, here's the thing, though. The Steelers are favored by a point. And I think that's because of the Broncos. It's going to be Drew Lock starting. Here's the thing. I had a hard time picking this because I'm like, if Teddy Bridgewater has a chance of playing, I'm going to pick him and the Broncos. But if we don't know for certain, I don't know if we'll know. We probably won't know till Friday or Saturday. As much as it pains me to say this, I gotta put faith in Big fucking Ben. So give me the Steelers here. Do I feel confident with it? Now, this is probably my least confident pick of the week, personally. Because I don't trust the Steelers at all that much. But if I got to base it on quarterback, and you know Big Ben's playing terrible, I'd rather have Big Ben playing terrible on my team over Drew Lock. Fair enough. I completely get that. Dave, are you going to go to the Mile High City, or are you going to join me in Kurt Angle? Broncos. See, the good thing is, so far through the picks, if anyone's noticed, I'm by myself in a lot of these, so depending what happens, I could actually lose my lead this week. I could actually end up being the third guy in third place, depending what happens. Which is scary. Well, we'll see how you do on this one, because it is the 1-3 Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are favored by 3.5 points. Here's the thing. Philadelphia, you suck. Your quarterback's not played well. Your defense has been... Your defense has been terrible. I mean, and your one wins against Atlanta. That's not an accomplishment this year, because the Giants couldn't beat them. So here's, the Panthers. They had a little bit of hiccup with the Cowboys. I think they're going to get a reprieve this week, and I think the Panthers will win this because you're all playing a team who is so bad defensively and offensively, in my humble opinion. I think Sam Darnold gets a bounce back week this week. If Christian McCaffrey plays this week, oh dear God, I feel sorry for Philadelphia, because not even all the Philadelphia cheesesteaks will be able to save their ass. So give me Carolina here at home. All right, 2 for the Panthers. Dave? Panthers as well. All right. Now, the next game, which... And before I continue... and I actually will ask this question after this pick, because it kind of might play into it, depending what happens here. It is the Tennessee Titans on the road against the Jags. Now, the Titans are favored by 4.5 points. Now, Tennessee played terrible last week against the Jets, blowing that game. Jacksonville, unfortunately, did the same thing against Cincinnati, blowing that game. Because I actually thought, I think we all did, because we were watching the game. And the Jags were actually playing well. We were like, what the fuck? Is Jacksonville finally going to do it? And then while Jacksonville does, Jacksonville thinks. As much as I'm worried for this, because this is, if any game on this list is a trap game, and what I mean by that, for people who don't know what I mean, a team that should win the game ends up blowing it because of whatever reason. And this is the definition, because no one is really thinking the Jaguars have a chance here. I think the point spreads is right about where it should be. I mean, I'd probably say Titans should be about 3 points, maybe 4, so I'm okay with the points they're favored by. I am taking the Titans here. This is your chance to make up for what happened last week, particularly since this is a divisional game, because if you win this game, Tennessee, you're probably going to have the best chance to win the division, since Indianapolis has injury issues, and the Houston Texans, I think, are just waiting for somebody to go, you dropped a bomb on me, baby. You dropped a bomb on me. So give me the Titans here. But I'm going to say this. If Jacksonville wins this game, I have a feeling we're all going to be going to Tennessee and hitting them in the head with jack-o'-lanterns. So, Mr. Jones, since you were so hateful on the Titans earlier, we're going to let you go first this time. In this one. Or next, I should say. Oh! Titans, alright. Dave, what about you? You got Titans, okay, so we all agree. So, good. Now, before we move on, I'd like to point out, if the Jags and Lions are still winless after this week, just to look ahead, Week 6 games for those two teams. Jacksonville plays at home next week against Miami, and the Lions play at home next week against the Bengals. So here's the thing, guys. I'm going to say this. If who has the better chance of winning their first game? Jacksonville or Detroit? You mean 0-17 because of the... So you're saying, oh, you think both of them don't win a game? Holy shit! It is possible, but... Jaguars, okay. Now, I'm just going to, obviously, because I'm pulling up the rest of the schedule. You say the Lions would do it, okay. And I only say that because Jacksonville does have a few winnable games on their schedule coming up. I mean, because they do got the Dolphins, and then after that, the next winnable game won't be till November 28th when they play the Falcons, because they do have a stretch coming up of hard opponents. As far as for the Lions, and I know somebody's like, why are you doing this now? Because, well, it's important because both teams fucking suck. For Detroit, though, it does not get any easier for them because after Cincinnati next week, and you can even say this game Sunday's a little bit difficult because it's a division game against the Vikings, and we know your win-loss record doesn't mean that much. But yeah, for the Lions, after the Vikings and Bengals, after that they play the Rams, and then the Eagles. So they might not have a chance to win a game till October 31st. So we're going to have to keep it, yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens there, of course, but we will keep you informed here on the Doug Barrett Network, where we just talk sports, video games, and anime boobies. Moving on, probably to one of the better late games of the day, and this game is at 4:05. It is the 3-1 Cleveland Browns taking on the 3-1 Chargers. Chargers are favored by 1.5 points. So they're expecting this to be a close game. I can understand it because of how Cleveland's offense was last week. But their defense really played well in that entire game against Minnesota. Personally, Chargers, I think they're playing with house money right now because no one expected them to be that good this early. Again, it's like a case with Cincinnati. No one expected them to be hot already. The game is in LA. So I wonder if we're going to have a weather delay. Now, to me, this all came down to quarterbacks. And, I think the Chargers quarterback, he's played really well. I think Baker Mayfield wants a chance to show that last week was just a fluke of him playing bad, because he did play bad last week. And the Cleveland defense is a little better, but I will say this. This is a game that I think was a very hard pick for a lot of people personally. I'd have to rank it up there as one of the harder games to pick. But give me the Browns on the road against the Chargers. So unfortunately this week, guys, I cannot say go Chargers, go. Damn. Mm-hmm. Alright, so right now we're split. So, Dave. Cleveland Browns, right? So he's I think Drew Carey and Miz will be happy with us this week. Moving on to the other game that's at 4:05, we head to Viva Las Vegas as the Bears take on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 5.5 points. Now, the Raiders are... Here's the thing. You're playing a Bears team who defensively has been okay. They don't have the running back for the next few weeks, though, so that could hurt them. So Justin Fields is going to have to step up big time here. Because you're playing against a real team. You're not playing against Detroit. You're playing against a real team, a team with playoff dreams. Where Detroit's just like, can we at least just complete our fucking pass? Give me the Raiders here, guys. I think the Raiders have had issues this year because 2 of their games have been in overtime. They pretty much, I don't think, have led. 2 of their wins have been when they're down 14-0 going into halftime. and they've won 2 games in overtime. I think this is the game they finally figured out and realized, hey, we need to leave our foot on the throat and not let go of the gas pedal. So give me the Raiders here at home. Two for the silver and black attack. All right, so that means, Mr. Jones, will you be siding with Killian Cross and the Raiders, or will you be siding with Steve Mongo McMichael and the Chicago Bears? Understood. So we all go with the Raiders there, which that's why we give the injury report before we make our picks, because people need to know. I'm glad we got that info out in time. Of course, now we have the 2 games that are at 4:25. Of course, we're going to start with Dave's 49ers as they are on the road against the Cardinals. Cardinals are favored by 5.5 points at the moment. Of course, we don't know the quarterback situation for the Niners at this time. It looks like Jimmy Garoppolo may or may not start. We do not know. Here's the thing, though. Cardinals, and this is also a trap game in the sense because Cardinals are undefeated. They're coming off that big high of beating the Rams soundly. This is a divisional game as well, so if the Cardinals win this, that's 2 division wins already. Wait, have the Cardinals played Seattle yet this year? Okay, so if the Cardinals win this, that's 2 games in the division you've already won, and you'll be up big in the division. So Niners need to win this, not only for themselves, but Niners just have to win this for the Seahawks and Rams so everybody can kind of stay in pace here. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be kind of funny seeing the Rams and Seahawks fans cheering for the Niners. But with that being said, with the quarterback issue right now with San Francisco, with the defense surprisingly playing well because J.J. Watt has not been injured yet this year for the Cardinals, which is a fucking miracle. So did I, but he hasn't. They haven't really done. He hasn't really done anything that makes the highlights. So that's kind of why there. I think he has, but he hasn't done anything like that would. I think because he's in Arizona now, where everybody just cares about the Rams and the Seahawks in that division. I think that's why he gets lost in the shuffle. But Cardinals have been playing well. So give me the Cardinals. So I just think they're the better team here, and they have everything going their way. Give me the Cardinals at home. Thank you. But we already know who Dave's picking, so Dave, make your pick. 49ers, which we're not surprised. So, Mr. Going with the Cardinals. That would be nice for the Niners because that'd put them right back in talks for being a legit threat. Moving on to the other 4:25 game, it is the New York Giants traveling to the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is favored by a touchdown right now, which I kind of think it's because of saying it's a divisional game. Giants usually, when they've played Dallas, Giants usually keep it close or end up winning. Here's the thing, though. Giants have a lot of injuries. Dallas's defense, which even Stephen A. Smith has said no one was expecting them to be this good already, because everyone, because of how they did last year, everyone's like, oh, Dallas's defense is going to still be a problem. But Dallas's defense has played pretty damn well. They actually lead the league defensively on getting interceptions. So it's really going to be interesting to see how that goes, personally. And also, Prescott's been playing well offensively, coming back from the injury. He's got 1,000 yards already, 1,600, 10 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Now, as far as for Mr. Jones of the Giants, now this is kind of funny. He not only leads the team in, of course, passing. He's got 4 TDs, 1 pick. He's thrown over for 1,000 yards. He's also the Giants' leading rusher with 188 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's not a good thing when your quarterback's also your leading rusher. Of course, Elliott has 342 yards and 4 TDs. Now, here's the thing, though. Just looking at the injury report, because I know this is going to factor into some. Giants have a few people on the questionable list. Barkley's questionable. Nate Ember's questionable. Lenoid Williams. Jabbar Peppers. and Kendra Smith, of course. But Dallas does have a few questionables as well. But we're expecting everyone to fully play here this week. Now, of course, what also, and I'm only doing this because I'm picking Dallas anyway, so that's why I'm just trying to waste some filler time here. Team stats-wise, points per game, Dallas has that covered, leading 31. They get about 31 points a game. Giants get about 20. Points allowed per game, kind of close. Cowboys give about up 24 points defensively. Giants give about 23. But what might be the key factor overall, though, is yards allowed, because yes, it does look close. Dallas gives up about 417. Giants give about 392, but here's the thing. All the yards Dallas gives up is through the air. They've actually been able damn well at stopping the runners, only giving up a grand total of 81 rushing yards allowed. Of course, offensively, though, Dallas leads that category as well because they actually have more rushing yards than passing yards offensively. But I know everyone knows who I'm picking here. I am taking my Cowboys here. We know I'm going to root for my boys to the end of time. Give me the Cowboys here. And if Dallas somehow wins this game, and the Eagles lose, and Washington loses, Dallas has a great control of the division, because after this game, Dallas plays the Patriots, and then Cowboys have a bye week. So entering the bye week, Dallas could be either 5-1, 4-2, or 3-3. Now that I've wasted enough time, Mr. Jones. Now, before you do that, I would like to point out one of our best defensive player, T. Diggs. He's actually intercepted the ball 5 times. He's intercepted the ball in every game. And as a matter of fact, counting it, 1, 2, 3, 8. Dallas has 8 interceptions defensively. Fuck you. You... If Giants win, I'm going to hide my head in shame, because I'm going to literally not hear the end of it from Dark Knight. Oh, God. I thought you were actually going to pick Dallas here, Dave. Why are you picking the Giants here? Because I went over everything why you shouldn't. That's why you pick Buffalo next in the next game. You don't pick the goddamn... Jets would have made more sense. You got Giants. If Giants lose, I'm going to be so happy, because then Dave's in big trouble. He's like, fuck. Particularly if the Niners lose, because then you're in deep trouble. It's like, fuck. Moving on to the Sunday night game. It is the Buffalo Bills on the road against the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 2.5 points, and I don't know why the Chiefs are favored here. Yes, Buffalo's played against bad teams and has beat the hell out of them. But has anyone... I've watched the Chiefs games this year. The only reason they've won the 2 games they've had is because the 2 teams they beat, Cleveland choked, and Philadelphia just can't play fucking defense. I'm sorry. The Chiefs do not look like a Super Bowl team to me right now. Defensively, they're terrible. And Buffalo's pretty much just killed everyone. Again, yes, I know they've played 3 bad teams, but when you're able to put up that kind of points defensively, and I mean, let's see. They lost to the Ravens because they fumbled the ball when they could have won. They lost to the Chargers, the Chiefs, because of the fact that the Chiefs just couldn't play defense. And yes, they beat the Eagles, but guess what? The Eagles fucking suck. I'm sorry here. The Bills have just been better on every position, and I know everyone's going to say, oh, but they got Patrick Mahomes. Yes, Mahomes has played well. I will give you that. But here's the thing. Mahomes has 4 interceptions. He's actually done a lot of stupid shit. And that's what worries me here for the Chiefs. You're going up against a Bills team who has capitalized defensively on other teams' mistakes since they've lost to the Steelers. So I'm going to say this, and I've been high on the Bills a lot since the last 2 or 3 years because I love what they've been doing defensively. I love that Josh Allen's always been improving every year. So give me the Bills on the road. I am taking Buffalo, and if Buffalo wins this game, they will prove that they are a legit threat to the AFC champion, to the Super Bowl. You know, I think they already ought to begin with win or lose. But give me the Bills on the road. Now, I will say as well, because I did mention earlier, this is Josh Gordon's first game back, and that's why everyone's saying Kansas City's going to win, because, oh, it's Josh Gordon's first game back. Did we not see how Richard Sherman played in his first game back last week against Tampa? He played terrible. I'm expecting Josh Gordon to play just as bad, if not worse. Is that because they're going to make sure he passes a drug test? Buffalo Bills. Yeah, this is the thing, guys. This is actually the first time I'm going to say this. I do not care for the Sunday night game because that's how much little faith I have in the Chiefs right now, and I don't know if it's how you two feel, but that's kind of sad, isn't it? Because last year, you know, the Chiefs were so great, everyone was watching their games, you know, but I think because they don't have a defense right now, it's like it really becomes a shootout. So if they play a team that has a good defense, like Baltimore, like the Chargers, you know, they end up losing, and they should have lost to Cleveland, technically, if Cleveland's punter didn't make that mistake. They should be 1-3 at the moment, not 2-2. But this gets us to the Monday night game, which I will be watching with my mom because, well, it is a rivalry game of sorts, but not a divisional rivalry game. It is the Baltimore Ravens at home against the Indianapolis Colts. If you do not know the history of these two teams, well, sit down for a while. Of course, the Colts used to be known as the Baltimore Colts before they hightailed it out of there because they did not get a new stadium. Of course, there is the 30 for 30 film about it with Dan Marino and John Elway, because even John Elway said he didn't trust the Colts ownership. He wouldn't play for them. He actually said he would have gone to play for the New York Yankees because he actually played baseball as well before the Colts traded him to Denver. So that's how all that happened, more or less. Here's the thing, though, and I will give the Colts congratulations here. They did win their first game. But I'm going to say, if you think I'm picking against my mom's team and I got to watch this game with her on Monday, you are fucking nuts. I am taking Baltimore here. I think Baltimore isn't. Oh, fuck you. I know who you're picking anyway, but I should point out, Ravens are favored by a touchdown here. I think the Ravens actually get a little bit of a benefit here because the Colts are so banged up offensively. Well, yes, the Colts did beat Miami, but the Ravens are not the Miami Dolphins. You're going to be playing against one of the best quarterbacks in the AFC in Lamar Jackson. The Ravens defense has kind of been up and down. Yeah, but let's also remember, they got the best kicker in the NFL in Justin Tucker. So as long as and they're always in field goal range. It's like, oh, it's a 56-yard kick. Justin Tucker can make that. Hey, he just set the record for kicking a 66-yard kick. Shit, he could probably make a 100-yard field goal kick somehow. So give me the Baltimore Ravens here. I can't wait to watch this game. I'm sure when the Ravens win, my mom will be going crazy on Facebook. By the way, I do have a message from my mom to you, Mr. Jones, in particular, because she knows you're a Colts fan. She said, she knows you're my friend and all. She said, for at least this coming Monday, you are an enemy of the Republic. After the game's over, everything's hunky-dory again. Ooh. So Baltimore. I have to say that as she's looking at me. Yeah. They are 3-1. They should be 2-2. Yeah. This is at Baltimore, so I don't think we're going to see too many Colts fans show up unless they want to die. Damn, Dave's even afraid of my mom. We'll get to them in a minute. So he's shaking the coat. Oh, it's probably not the real Sasha Banks. Now here's the thing. I'm sure somebody's like, "Oh, Doug, why are you trying to bring up the history of the Colts and Ravens?" Because that's pretty much what I think they're going to be bringing up a lot during the pre-show on Monday. And I guarantee you, a lot of Baltimore fans, if they see any Colts fans there, in particular for older Baltimore fans, when they remember the Colts used to be there before they left, because, and I know Mr. Jones may not know this, a lot of the season ticket holders for the Baltimore Colts never got their money back. So there's still a lot of hatred between that. Plus, Baltimore still disputes to this day that the first Colts championship should not have went to Indianapolis with them and should have stayed in Baltimore. That's because, remember, when the Colts won their first Super Bowl, they were known as the Baltimore Colts. So yeah, it's still a lot of love and hate. And when I mean love to hate them thing. So this is the one game a year my mom will purposely watch, and she will literally, if Baltimore loses, I think she will go off. So Colts, so it's like, yeah, if you hear that there was an earthquake that killed people in Virginia, I think you know why. But getting to the college games real quick, by the way, just to give you a quick recap for the MLB, because there was a wild card game tonight. Red Sox did beat the Yankees last night to move on. That game tonight right now is in the middle of the 8th, so it's going to the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals and Dodgers are tied 1-1. Don't forget, tomorrow, if you don't want to watch the Rams Seahawks, you can either watch one of the following. At 4:07, it would be the White Sox against the Astros on FS1. Also on FS1 tomorrow night at 8:07, it will be the Red Sox against the Rays. On Friday, on the MLB Network, it will be Game 2 of the White Sox-Astros. On TBS at 4:37, it will be Game 1 of the Braves-Bruins. Red Sox and Rays have Game 2 Friday night on FS1. And on TBS, the Giants will play Game 1 against the winner of tonight's game. So keep that in mind. Now, of course, for you college football fans out there who don't want to watch Rams and Seahawks, I got some bad news for you. Tomorrow night's college games suck a dick. It will be number 15 Coastal Carolina, who's 5-0, going against Arkansas State, who is 1-4. And I'm going to ask this question. Where the fuck can anybody actually find Arkansas State on the map? I know it's somewhere in Arkansas, but that's about it. The only thing I know about Arkansas is the Arkansas Razorbacks, okay? And that game will be on ESPNU. Also at 7:30 tomorrow, you can watch 4-1 Houston taking on 1-4 Cholula at 7:30. Now Friday, if you don't want to watch SmackDown when they start, I believe, Mr. Jones, you might know this better than me, or you, Dave. Friday starts the tournament, right, for the King and the Women's. Okay. If you don't want to watch the King of the Ring tournament going on, you can watch the following games tomorrow on Friday. 3-2 Temple at number 5 Cincinnati on ESPN at 7 o'clock. So I already know what Mr. Jones is going to be like. Great, everybody in fucking Ohio is going to be watching the damn Cincinnati game. And that's on ESPN. On CBS Sports Friday, you can watch 3-2 Charlotte take on 1-4 FIU. And then on ESPN at 10:30 Friday night, you can watch 3-2 Stanford take on 4-1 Arizona State, who is ranked number 22 in the country. As far as for Friday, I'm going to say this. Fuck you, ACC Network. That would be my Notre Dame taking on Virginia Tech, so I do not get to watch that game, so I will be pissed off all day Saturday night. As far as for your bigger games on Saturday, number 6 Oklahoma takes on number 21 Texas on ABC at 12 o'clock. Also at 12 o'clock, yes it will be. On Fox, it would be 4-1 Maryland taking on number 7 Ohio State. So we know Mr. Jones will be keeping an eye on that one. But you gotta let him have fun, because he can't have fun with his Colts. Come on. Another big game and this game's on ESPN at 12 o'clock. Number 13 Arkansas versus number 17 Ole Miss. Both teams coming off a loss, so both teams kind of need a win to try to stay hope alive. At 12 o'clock as well on the SEC network, Vanderbilt takes on number 20 Florida. Florida's had some issues the last 2 weeks. So keep an eye on that one. On CBS at 3:30 on Saturday, number 2 Georgia takes on number 18 Auburn. On ABC, BYU ranked number 10 takes on 2-3 Boise State. On ESPN2 at 3:30, Wake Forest ranked 19 takes on Syracuse. One of the big late games on Saturday on Fox, number 4 Penn State, who's undefeated, takes on number 3 Iowa, who's also undefeated. So keep that in mind. Michigan, I'm getting to it. Michigan, ranked number 9, takes on Nebraska on ABC at 7:30. CBS at 8 o'clock will have number 1 Alabama taking on Texas A&M. And your last game of the nights, your last 2 games at 10:30, UCLA takes on Arizona on ESPN at 10:30, and New Mexico State takes on Nevada on CBS Sports at 10:30. That is the college and the MLB and the NFL for all you need to know. I will be making my playoff predictions for baseball tomorrow morning, since we'll know who's playing where, so tune into that tomorrow morning. But until then, Dark Knight says, let's go Giants. Well, you're already late. Now give me a few minutes, guys, because we will be doing the game where I play against the Giants in my fantasy franchise. So give me a few minutes, guys. But good luck to your teams this week, unless you're playing one of my mom's teams. Sorry, Mr. Jones. Oh, I thought you picked the Seahawks. It's okay to be scared. It's October. But we'll see you guys in a few minutes, alright? You guys have a rest of your good night, and have a happy and safe rest of the week coming up.